Alrighty guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to do a oil change on a mini bike or simply any kind of simple 4-stroke engine here that has oil fills right there. So basically all you're going to need is a thing to put your oil in, like kind of like a Tupperware or a pan or something to place underneath it, your oil and your funnel, which sometimes on these bikes they're kind of strange and weird at putting the oil fills in certain spots. So something like this would be perfect for placing on your bike and getting the oil in. So we got that out, we got the oil out, and the last thing we need is the funnel and measuring cup to measure how much oil and pour it into the bike. So like I said a little bit ago, or a second ago, sometimes these bikes are kind of weird with the oil fill marks. Right here is where it is on mine, and it's just kind of impossible to get a funnel and angle it right there. So I have this funnel that's kind of a silicone bendable one, and I also have another one that I'm gonna have to use as well right here. And I mean, realistically, you'd want to make sure that there's no like dust and shit on this, but I don't really care about this. I don't really care about this engine. It's cheap, it's whatever. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just get to the next step. So the next step is basically turning on your bike and letting it run for basically just a minute or two, kind of letting all the oil circulate on the bike. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this thing on here. Well, that did not sound good, but it should be fine. There we go, I had to turn the choke off. Make sure to open the door up just so you don't end up breathing in a bunch of exhaust fumes. And we're just gonna let this kind of sit here and run for a second or two. Once you let it run for about maybe 20-30 seconds, you can let it run for longer if you want. But after you let it run for a minute or two, go ahead and shut the bike off. Next step is kind of get something if you're on like an angled platform, which I am. Last time I did an oil change, or the first time I did an oil change on this bike, all the oil kind of seeped and fell to the bottom here. So to fix that, you're going to want to find something to place under your back tire and make it to where it kind of fixes the angle and all the oil flows this way. All right, so now I got the bike up on a platform here. We can go and place our oil pan, not our oil pan, but our oil fill marker right there. All right, so to prop it up, I just found like a weed eater battery and we put that under there. But you're gonna get your oil pan, you're gonna find the proper wrench size that fits your oil bowl right here. You're gonna have this kind of up and make sure your bike's kind of float up that way. Sometimes it'll be a little weird, and you can see we're gonna push. You kind of got to do this pretty carefully, and it is pretty hot because I just did run the bike a little bit ago. But you're gonna have this right here, and you're just gonna get it to where it's really loose on there. Also pushing on it at the same time while you're unscrewing it, so none of the oil shoots out on your fingers. As you can see, now I can pull this away real fast, and we should get a constant flow of some oil. Never drop this on the ground like I just did, because I'm gonna have to clean it off now, but this basically is gonna keep all the oil in your bike. And you can see it was, I mean, not really crazily due for an oil change, but definitely didn't hurt it. But as you can see here, I mean, the mini bikes, whoever makes them does not do a great job at designing this oil marker here. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, so once you have your oil fully drained here and it's just dripping out like so, you can put your oil thing right here back in. We're gonna go ahead and find like a towel or something to wipe this back. All right, so it should be fine now. We're gonna plop this bad boy back in here, as you can see. And realistically, you'd want to, if this was like a real, like good engine or something, or like a car or something, you want to put a new washer on this. But I mean, what I'm doing is it's fine. It stayed in place. We're good. So we're gonna plop this guy back on there. And I forgot one step actually was to take this out first. You're supposed to take this out. So yeah, just add that step on to here. You're gonna take that out so you don't really cause a suction in here, and you can get all your oil out. So I'm just gonna make sure it's all out of here. All right, as you can see, all the oil came out. So maybe that might be a false, might be a myth, who knows, but yeah, you might probably are going to want to take that out just to, yeah, get that all set up. But be very careful on what you get near and in this bike, or near these two little holes on here. Just be very careful, because this does go straight into your engine. So, yeah. As you can see here, the oil was a bit dark, and I do see a lot of kind of grayish areas in here, which indicate metal chunks, which is normal. This bike literally has this is going to be the 4th oil change on it, so it's kind of expected to have some of that. But yeah, so this calls for 2 cups of oil. I'm going to measure out, as you can see, 2 cups right there, and we're going to go and dump this 10W30 into here. Depending on where you live and how hot it gets, you would want to kind of differ into what oils you use. I use 10W30 just because it basically just does the job very well. We're going to measure to about 2 cups here, so. There we go, right at about 2 cups. There's that fresh oil, replacing that old, nasty black oil. Look at the difference here. And that just shows you, you're going to want to do oil changes better early than late. So make sure you tighten this back on here. Let me just find the right one here. Okay. So you're going to find the right one, and then you're going to want to tighten it back into place. Fucking ass, bro. Y'all saw that? So my wrench is drenched in oil now. Just don't mind the noise outside. They're doing a shingle change on a house or something. I don't know. But we're going to tighten this back on here. My hands are going to be very disgusting after this. So is the bike. But you're going to do your best in tightening this onto here. Grief. And I'm tightening it the wrong way. Fuck. So there's oil all over my hands, and this always happens just because it's just a pain in the ass sometimes. Do an oil change on a bike that has the oil fill and drain holes in very, very shitty spots. So you're going to tighten this up, not too tight so you don't strip it or anything, and get your hands covered in oil like I did, so you know you're doing a great job. But like looking at this oil, there is a lot of metal in it, it looks like. I'm gonna get something to wipe my hands off on. Here, there we go. And we're gonna go ahead and fill this thing up with the oil here. And I'm not gonna show that right now because I don't have a tripod to hold this thing up on, but I'll get back to you guys when I got it filled up. All right, so last but not least, you're gonna get your old oil, put it in a Gatorade bottle here. All right, so last but not least, we got all the old oil into that Gatorade bottle and threw it away in recycling. Now we can go ahead and take our bike off of our stilts here. Kick these wrenches over there because I don't fucking care. But take this off of here. Oh, goodness. We need 2 hands for this. Yeah.